Encouraging student intrinsic motivation to learn is often a challenge in the physical classroom, and it sure doesn't get any easier in long-distance learning. This video, and an accompanying second one, focuses on the key elements researchers have found we have to keep in mind if we want to create supportive learning conditions. This short video will focus on two of these elements, relatedness and relevance. Relatedness is about relationships, and having positive relationships with students is everything, especially when it comes to virtual teaching, when students don't really have to connect with you if they don't want to. We must do everything we can to cultivate a desire among students to want to connect with us. Of course, that's going to be pretty difficult if you were not able to develop a positive relationship with a student when he or she was actually in your physical classroom, but it's not impossible. I reached out several times immediately following our school's closure to a student who had offered some major classroom management challenges during the year. My contacts with her were focused on how she and her family were doing. In the course of that texting, I received one that said, "Mr. Ferlazzo, I want to take this as an opportunity to apologize for my past behavior in class. As I said in one of my previous Ed Week videos, we need to lead with love, not with lessons." Helping students connect with their classmates is another way we can encourage student intrinsic motivation. Yes, an occasional video conference call check-in can be nice, but what I have found more helpful is having students do projects with partners of their own choosing. Being able to work in small groups of their own choosing and at their own times is clearly one of the reasons 4/5 of my International Baccalaureate Theory of Knowledge students are on schedule with giving their end of the semester oral presentations. In my live video classes, I used to invite students to stay in the video conference room after class if they had questions. I found that practically everyone would stay, even though only one or two actually had questions. The others just wanted to be connected. Now, after class is over, I invite students to hang around to converse with each other, and the only rule is that it needs to be classroom appropriate. We've even had an impromptu dance party, which has since resulted in many of my students repeatedly asking me to demonstrate my moves again. And trust me, based on the sounds of loud laughter, it's not because they think I'm a good dancer. Now, more than ever, it's time for teachers to create social media accounts to help connect with students and help to further strengthen relationships. It doesn't mean you have to make a TikTok video every day, but creating a teacher Instagram account can be an easy way to help students feel like they can connect with you online in other ways apart than just giving and receiving class assignments through Google Classroom. Relevance is another element in helping to develop student intrinsic motivation. I have taken my usual thematic schedule of topics that I always cover at the end of the year with my English language learner newcomer students and thrown it out the window. Instead, I have asked them for a list of topics they would like to learn about, and I've identified ones like the coronavirus, getting a job, and immigration laws, among many others. Hey, it's easy for me to teach vocabulary and grammar and create speaking and reading opportunities in just about any topics they choose. Why not? It might be harder to do that in some classes, but it seems to me that most teachers can create space for students to identify things they want to learn or that they're interested in, and which will help them achieve their own goals and dreams. Just ask. If you think students might have a difficult time coming up with ideas for your particular subject, just make a list of topics that you think might be relevant to their lives, share them, and ask for student feedback. Another important strategy is to look at students through the lens of their assets and not their deficits. One way to do this is to learn from students what they might feel that they are experts in now and ask them to teach a short lesson related to it to the class, with the appropriate scaffolds, of course. For example, a soccer player could research and teach about the probabilities of how to successfully score or defend on a penalty kick. Teachers could also ask students to describe what they're doing during their days and reflect what they are learning from in those experiences, whether it's from a student's mother teaching them to cook or a student's father teaching them to do that, another adult teaching them how to fix a car, or a grandparent sharing a family story of adventure or misadventure. School is not the only place where we all learn, and in fact, we may learn some of our most important lessons outside of it. Invite those lessons in and validate their importance. These are just a few ideas for encouraging students' intrinsic desire to learn, and I'm sure that there are many more. All we can do is keep these elements in mind and try our best in these challenging times.